In 5, 4, 3. I know that Katie has told you what to think of me. Isn't she wonderful? With lawsuits and trolling, and this has all been in the name of breaking code silence.
I can't.
It's all for real. I'm telling you just how I feel. So wake up, you're in a Barbie bitch call. It's your time to leave. There's no chance unless you make one. And the time to see the clear pattern of narcissistic behavior. Cause some things are clear to see, and I got your back, so leave Katie back to me. Leave Katie back to me. Leave Katie back to me. Let Katie Mac hate me.
You nail that live.
Thank you.
Yeah.
She does. She does. That's why I try to be so quiet, but I can't not laugh. Sorry.
No,
This is a little
the
funny.
funny thing is I have tried to record that. I can't. I cannot sit down and professionally press record, take this shit seriously enough to make a recording of this because it's ridiculous.
Could be a #1
Do
bestseller.
you think that that's gonna go through? When I try to put that on my SoundCloud, it's not gonna get fucking.
Girl, I'd make it my ringtone. Northie and Little Uzi Vert.
Supposedly it's been made fun of that I can't sing. And I'm like, oh.
No, you
Oh, yeah,
can.
leave it to the real
I'm
musicians.
sitting down making fun of you. I didn't get a few notes right. Yeah, that's called not caring. But
You for sure got the pipes, for sure.
But here, they're real musicians that we don't even like have a photo or identity of. It's wild.
No, so hi,
we don't even
it's
know they're
just-
a real person.
So this is the iCari podcast. This is my co-host Trauma Barbie, and let's meet our guest. Let him talk.
All right, so basically, I'm Simon Brickner. I'm an NYU history student at the College of Arts and Sciences. I'm going into my senior year. I've done all my history requirements several times over, but now I got to pass my distribution requirements. I'm a freelance journalist. I went to Turnbridge in New Haven, Connecticut.
At what age?
I was 21
It's
to
him.
23. I went to the young adult program. I have a lot of stories. There's the adolescent program. They've got a program in Woodbury. They've got a program in Killingworth. They're licensed by DCF. There's a lot to say about the adolescent program, and you could say they're a lot of the tactics they use are similar to the academy at Ivy Ridge. I mean, obviously, it's not a program of torture, but there's a lot of similarities.
So talk to us about what that was like for you, because you've only watched that since I recommended it to you. What was that like to watch? And you watched it just all in one night, right?
Yeah, I watched it all in one night. I had a joint. I watched that shit. I mean, I met you through a journalist that we both know. I was unaware of the existence of this documentary until I was several months deep into my Turnbridge reporting. I watched it and I took a lot of notes, and it just hit so close to home. I cried. It was.
Can I ask a quick question? Turnbridge is the one right by you, right, Kari?
Correct.
That is the one that you're psychiatrist. Okay, and this is
Yep. Yeah, I guess you had no clue who we were talking to today.
no fucking clue who the fuck this was. Just put it together there. Yes, hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yes, there's
Now
so
I'm
much.
fangirling. You're an impressive human.
She's
Now I'll
wanted
shut
to
up.
talk to you for a while, and I guess it was not clear to her who we were interviewing today.
Nope.
Thank you.
But
Well,
you are a soldier. I want to know. Thank you for everything you're doing. But
So tell
I'm
me
so
about
happy.
tell us about your upbringing too, because that's pretty important. Is that
My
'cause
upbringing,
we all come from money. A lot of us come from a vast amount of wealth.
Yeah, I'm a nepo baby basically. I grew up like a few blocks from 9/11. Essentially, I was one when 9/11 happened. My parents were taking.
Way to make me feel old, man. Okay.
Right? Me too. I'm I was in 10th grade.
I fully
What?
remember that day.
What? Me too.
Little baby. My
So
parents
you
were.
were one.
I was
Wow.
one, yeah.
Did you have to evacuate? You weren't allowed. Were you ever allowed to go back to your building after 9/11?
Oh yeah, we were allowed to go back to the building, but I did develop asthma and several like respiratory problems that were lifelong,
Oh
and
shit. I
so did
wasn't
my
even thinking about that. Wow.
got to look out for like dying young because I was in the
You breathed that in when you were a baby. You
oh
breathed
yeah,
in.
breathe that in for years, breathe in all that debris. I was right down the block. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I'm gonna have crazy health problems. I'm probably gonna get cancer or something, but you know how it goes.
Wow. That's
My
insane.
my parents had dropped off my sister in Brooklyn Heights at school. We went to a like kind of an artsy private school, the whole family, and they stopped at Wall Street on the way back, and everybody came in. They were like covered in ash. Um,
Holy crap.
and that was basically what my like early childhood was like. 9/11 was a big subject in the house. They put me on
How was your
Ritalin.
infancy?
I mean, it sucked.
Literally.
My childhood sucked.
Yeah.
Like everything about it sucked. I hated school. I hated my parents. I hated my siblings. I hated the people I went to school with. I did not.
Are you adopted?
Well, that's a funny story. My
Oh,
dad
stop. Okay.
my dad is my biological dad. My mom is a like I had an egg donor as a mom. So the
Because you
mom,
had money. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what moneyed people do. I
My
mean,
mom
yeah.
was going through menopause. I
Right.
actually tracked
Okay.
down the late.
But I could still see parallels. I could still see the parallels being an adopted kid as he's talking, the way he speaks.
Well, because it's that whole like most of the people that were adopted, they came from money too. So it's like this whole
Yeah.
it's like even the ideology
Hi.
of I bought this child in some way. So when they
Yep.
send him away, it's like this. You have to almost. It's like a double. It's easier almost to send your kid away if you're
But
adopted.
like the adopted kid arts, the biggest trigger is abandonment, and they do it to us again.
But this is a new one. I haven't really
Yeah.
heard very many
But the way
about
he said egg
an egg
donor.
donor. But it's a
Yes.
similar situation. Yeah.
But I
Go
mean, I
on.
call my bio mom egg donor. Sorry.
Yeah, they need a return on their investment is the way they look.
Yep.
We spent all this money to create you, and you're going out like
I didn't
committing
even think of
crime
it that way.
and
Brilliant.
not
It
doing
is.
what we want you to do. So now we're gonna pay these people $250,000 to put you back on the right track.
It's a
Um,
Thank
different
you.
way to own you. That's crazy.
That's another level I hadn't thought about, but you are definitely correct about that. You're absolutely correct about that.
I
Not
actually
wrong.
tracked down my bio mom last month.
What was
We
that like?
well, we had a donor file that my parents had hid from me for like 26 years,
Oh,
and
wow.
my sister got, or I don't even think my parents had it. It was buried in some like drawer that they couldn't find.
Okay.
So they gave it to my sister, and after badgering my sister for a while, she gave it to me. And there was a bunch of details in there, like they had like an alias, and they had like a bunch of photos and a bunch of information about this lady. And I started going through like it said stuff about what she did in college and her sports activities and where she likely went to college. So I started like searching college yearbooks and various things and going through old records. And after
No.
a lot of searching, somebody helped me find her on Reddit. So
Wow.
I,
And
I
did she
found
want to
her.
have anything to do with you? Does she think it was
That's
interesting to
not.
talk to you, or?
Well, we're gonna find out. My sister's writing a snail mail letter, actually.
Oh
I
wow.
love that. I love that. But I love that. I love that.
We tracked down her address. Like we tracked down her place of work. We tracked down her full name.
You're
Like
a journalist. I'm not surprised.
I found her on Facebook and like all this other shit. Like
Wow.
That's
it was,
awesome.
it was ridiculous.
So, where did you get sent to any facilities before you were 21?
I've been sent to like several sober livings and several rehabs before then.
And
Can
what
I
were
ask?
they like? What
Several
were they for?
detoxes.
Like, not like like not like it was your fault, but like, what were your parents trying to control or whatever?
Drug addiction, substance use disorder, also like criminal leanings, street gangs, violence, things
What are
like
you
that.
talking about? You're not in the street. What street get you were doing that in New York?
Sorry.
Like that?
Sorry.
Really?
Sorry.
No,
No,
no, I mean, no, because
I wasn't really in a gang, but I was a producer and I produced a lot of shit for a lot of street gangs and
Police
I
have me labeled combative, and I'm not. So I mean, I get it.
no, I mean, I know you live in New York City, but I saw pictures. I was like, really?
no,
Just because.
I see what you're saying. Like it sounds ridiculous, but from the perspective of my parents, if you're my parents,
Oh, if you, that was what your parents were thinking that you were gonna do. That was like, okay, all right.
yeah, they were
But you
like,
weren't really doing that.
Simon's in a gang. No, I wasn't really doing that. I was just hanging around the wrong crowd and like also like selling drugs at times. But
Oh,
like,
okay.
I get that.
But yeah, but I was like, you weren't in a gang for real. Like, but that was just what your parents were trying to
yeah,
prevent.
But once you involve drugs, like, Nepo baby is expensive, like rich families, like it's the
yeah,
worst. They're
it's bad fast. They're like, oh
like
my
I
god.
dated a dealer and I was like in a gang. And he was in a gang. And my mom called the cops on my boyfriend when he came over for dinner. Like crazy shit in high school. Like I get it.
Yeah, the nepo baby like street shit like
I get it.
very quickly crosses
Because I
over.
don't even want to say what your parents did because it's that cool. Like, I know, but we're not gonna say what your parents did on.
I don't know and I don't do
I'll
research.
tell
And she
you
doesn't
later.
prep me, obviously. Just
Um,
along for the ride, YOLO.
Because no, but like,
my mom is an author for the record.
Stop, I'm
like,
reading a book. I love
She's
it.
no, no, but
Her books are great.
like,
I've actually read some of them.
because it's just like it's the whole thing of like we're not poor kids. We like this isn't like we
Oh,
weren't
I'm
like
definitely
poor kids that
poor.
got sent to a boot camp. It's like these places. How much did Turnbridge cost your parents?
Something like $250,000.
That's
And it was
one of the
and it's
pricier
still at
ones. That's more
21.
than Sea-Doo.
Yeah, but if you for price inflation, it's almost similar because mine was 2.5 years and it was like 52 grand a year. So it was
But
like
then like I'm
it's like
I'm like the bottom of like the totem pole because like
yeah, in the
so
price
like
range, which is
Hyde was like
surprising
40
because I thought
grand
it
in
had to
20
be more.
2003. It was like 40 grand I think at that point. It wasn't
But
anywhere
also,
near that.
you were in how many films?
I,
You were
I
like a
was
child actor.
I was a child actor. I was in 3 different movies.
Oh
But
no, that could explain a lot too.
the
But
big
you
one was
never
the
like.
Italian
Did you
Clinic.
have? Do you think you had drug use from that world at all?
Not really. I mean, that world was kind of just like, oh, here comes. We're gonna invite Simon to this screening, but he's gonna come completely fucked up. Like the usual. Yeah,
So do you
like
think
I
that like affected you later or you were already affected before it started? Because I know a lot of people that tell me like growing up in a spotlight as a child or in any type of a spotlight definitely affected their tendencies through adolescence later in
well,
life.
even before I was an actor, I'd been raped by Darius Paduk. This was like a famous doctor. This was like a huge case
Oh
when it came out
wow!
a few years
I didn't
ago.
know about this.
And when I was a child, I had been raped by this dude, and like I remembered like all of it. I didn't like suppress it, and like I was in
Wow.
denial for several years. And then a few months later, after I got raped, I was just like, all right, I guess I'm gonna start doing drugs.
Did
Very
you
quick.
try to tell your
I
parents or
understand that.
anything?
I told them 4 years after it happened.
Did they believe you?
Yeah, they believe me.
Good.
Yeah, they believe me.
And then what happened? Did they do anything or?
Um they kind of left that up to me, and I kind of like went on and off. Like I would go on Instagram and be like, this guy raped me, and then I'd like take it down, and then like a day later be like, I'm saying it again, this guy raped me, and then like
I get that.
like you know being very messy about it, and then eventually he got arrested and charged with multiple different counts of child sexual abuse, and then he ended up doing life in federal prison, which
I was gonna say
where
karma.
So he's in jail right now still?
oh yeah, he's in federal prison.
He
He's
just did
doing
like a life sentence, right?
yeah, he's never getting out.
Yeah, that's amazing. Karma fucking bit his ass. That shit happens.
Yeah, karma got his ass. And then so I started doing drugs basically all the time. I was very quickly an addict. Um and yeah, it started with weed, and then it kind of evolved to other things like Percocets and Xanax. I loved Xanax. That was like
Yeah, I
my
can't take benzos. And I have anxiety, so like I get it.
yeah, I very quickly got addicted to the Xanax. What
Get it.
show up to school like sloppy high, like sleep through my classes. I would go to after school programs and be like it was ridiculous.
It's just like the most beautiful like medication that like numbs it out, but like with the anxiety because of the trauma, like
It
I don't know.
feels
But
Get it.
it's the
I get
thing
it.
that like everyone that got sent away was reacting because of an abuse they were suffering at home, or abuse they suffered as a child. That like no
Or covering
child
up for
just
something that they couldn't process.
there's never I don't think that there's ever a time that like somebody's
No.
going to be doing drugs as a child and like and they had a happy time growing up.
Yeah, very quickly after that too, I was like having sex with like 40-year-olds when I was like 17 and like getting groped in bathrooms while I was like high. So like
Wow. But I mean
I,
that's New York City though. New York City is crazy.
New York City's fucking wild.
I
I brought
mean,
my
and
52-year-old
you've
boyfriend
grown
home for
up you grew up
Thanksgiving.
in New York City. Like you've always lived in New York City, right?
It's like
Yeah,
18. I get it.
always,
But you've always have you always lived in New York City besides when you
always,
went to
always.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So how long were the facilities that you got sent to before getting sent to Turnbridge?
I was at the first one for about 6 months. Um,
And what was that one?
that was a sober living, but it was like basically a rehab where they let you go outside sometimes. It was very controlling. It wasn't like a normal sober living. I'm at a sober living right now, Avenues, where they basically just let you do whatever you want. They don't give a shit. Um, you just can't get fucked up. But I
That's
went
still
to
impressive.
I
Like
went
Well,
that's
to
six
not a
months
little
isn't a
thing.
small amount of time, especially when you're a fucking adolescent. Like, how old were you?
my first one was when I was 18. And then I just started going over and over again to detoxes and sober livings and
Okay, I have one weird question because you said you're a Nepo baby, and this might be an assumption of me, and I totally understand assumptions make an ass out of you and me, so I might look like an asshole.
make
Are
an
you
ass.
like, were you ever under like a conservatorship? How did you get in? Like, how was this put upon you as a legal adult? Like,
Yeah, because
without
that's
your
what we're all
that's
wondering.
one of
How the fuck did you end up as an
yeah.
adult locked up? Yeah.
Well,
Because
how I
this changes the troubled teen industry.
yeah, fair enough.
Right, because it's like, is
Literally.
Turnbridge in a troubled teenager school? It's so cool, yeah. But it's
That's why
more.
Kari was
It's
screaming
worse.
to me. Kari, this was Kari's words in my inbox. I have her voicemail.
What happened at Turnbridge was not exactly legal, and this happened to a lot of different people in my memo. Actually, it's pretty messed up. When you try to leave, they call the police on you, and they do everything they can to not give you your money. Like you'll go. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, you can go straight to the homeless shelter." One time, I successfully got out. They didn't give me my money. They didn't give me anything, and I went straight to the hood, which was the only place I could go sleep. Almost got robbed. Almost got jumped.
In New Haven?
No, I made it all the way to New York,
Oh, okay.
and they had sent someone after me to the train station, and I had successfully dodged this dude at the train station and gotten onto the train, and then I was like, I'm free, and I made it all the way to New York, and I slept at this place in Harlem, and like the first second I got into this place in Harlem, like I made like too much noise on the floor, and they were like, "We're gonna fucking kill you, motherfucker!" And I was like, "Oh my god." Um, so then I was like, "Fuck it," and then I asked my mom, like, "Ma, please let me come back." But at this point, she'd been inducted into the Lauren Springer cult. I don't know.
And so, because this was when you were how long at Turnbridge when this happened?
I've been there 6 months at this point.
So you had this is the beginning still.
Yeah.
Megan, shut up. I know you want to talk, but Megan, we have to let her
I'm
talk.
not. I'm not.
My parents have been totally brainwashed by Lauren Springer, and essentially they said like, go fuck yourself, you can't stay here. So and like none of the shelters were taking anyone at that point.
So you had to go back because you literally had nowhere else to go.
Yeah, I mean I could have stayed in this place in Harlem, but they were trying to make me sell drugs and do all this other shit that I didn't want to do.
Tough love, because they call that tough love. It's like the whole thing even with like interventions. It's like you're giving them no other options than to have to be institutionalized.
The first time though I tried to leave, they just called the police on me straight up.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
They called you when you ran away?
Yeah, the first time. This was like maybe 2 months into it.
You were like running
Turnbridge or
away
your
as an adult, and
parents?
they're calling the police. And what were they saying? What were the Turnbridge was calling the police on you?
Yeah, Turnbridge was calling the police.
What the?
And what were they
I thought.
saying?
They were saying like, "Oh, this kid is out of control. He's screaming, like he's a danger to himself and others. You should like come take him to the psych ward and like things like that." This like there's other like I remember this kid. What was his name? Fuck, I don't remember what his name was, but I was in phase 2 with him. He got a plane ticket to Texas because he was dating this girl, and she got him a plane ticket, and they were gonna go stay together in Texas. There was a connecting flight in Florida. He touched down in Florida. At the airport, his he got a call and said, "Yeah, we're not gonna give you the ticket for the connecting flight, because Turnbridge called my dad and said that I needed to be at Turnbridge and told all this stuff about like what you were doing and how you're gonna die if you don't like stay there, and like I just don't know what to do, and like this is so complicated, please go back." And like that happened to this dude, and then this happened to this other dude named Harry, where they called his girlfriend's dad and said Harry is gonna die unless you keep him at Turnbridge, and that they get the playbook, they figure out who you're talking to, and then
That's almost like you. That's the basis of the troubled teen industry too. Is that there's the admin building, there's the parent coordinators, whatever. And it's like there's most of the troubled teen industry. Each one school is a group, like a building of people just lying to parents saying your kid we saved lives, but it's just but this it lasts forever, like. No matter, and I think it's about like how much money they put into this. Like they spent over $100,000, and that like forever. It's like I saved your life. I saved your life. I'm a good person because I saved your life. So no matter what, later on when they're like, "This hurt me," oh, it doesn't matter. I saved your life. I saved.
I'm gonna cry. I knew I was gonna cry. Like I knew there was no point for lashes today. The day I've been having. I fucking knew it.
I remember the name of the kid that got interfered with in Florida. His name was James. But there's multiple different stories. There's so many stories from my memo, which is it's about like I think 230 pages at this point.
You keep a log. It's called Turnbridge Abuse Log. Well, that's your Instagram.
Yes.
It's like a daily update, right? Or some shit. That's what I read. Yeah.
There's also a website which I update on a daily basis.
That wasn't I.
Like every day I update the memo with new things people have told me, new information, because I talk to Turnbridge survivors every single day and they tell me new things, and I go research. Like today I spent looking up the court records for one person who was a case manager that had like I don't know, something like 7 different larceny convictions before she was a case manager at Turnbridge.
So the first one, she went to how many facilities before Turnbridge?
I think I went to 5 or 6 before.
Did they feel like, were they culty or were they just like residential rehab kind of thingies?
They were just normal therapeutic, like little like normal detoxes and sober livings and.
So what made Turnbridge so different? It was like
Turnbridge. What's different was Turnbridge was a cult. You know, like that. That's really what was different, and like that Turnbridge kept you for years. You know,
yeah, they told you when you got there you were going to be there, what, 30 days or something?
They told me 28 days. I was on the phone on the way to Turnbridge. I was talking to this dude that picked me up. I know his name. I'm not going to say his name because he's going to come sue me, but I know who you are, JM. I
understand that.
I reached out to his ass. I was like, "Hey, remember when you fucking made me sign fraudulent contracts and made me give up my movie career and everything?"
Well, yeah, because did he have to transfer you just across state lines from New York City to Connecticut?
He actually picked me up out of Holy Family Hospital in Haverhill, Massachusetts. He picked me up on September 28th. It was a 3.5-hour drive. Repeatedly on the phone, I'm talking to my friends like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna be good. I'm just doing this 28-day program. It ain't shit." My dad calls me on the phone while I'm in the psych ward. He's like, "Oh yeah, you got to get discharged somewhere. You got to do this little 28-day program. It ain't shit." And I'm like, "All right, 28 days, fuck it." So then I get there, I sign the contracts. I'm like, damn, this is a lot of contracts. I wonder what's going on. So I sign all the contracts, and then I get out and I get into the car with the other clients who just look miserable and like beaten up and just look like they're doing fucking terrible. And they're talking, they're like, oh man, I've been in phase one a month. I'm gonna be here another month or maybe 2 more months. I'm like, what do you mean you've been in phase one a month? Isn't the whole fucking program like 28 days? And they were like, oh, they got you with that too.
Here we go.
That's what.
Yeah, because it's usually like some sort of like hook. Yeah, it's not that bad, or yeah.
They got you with that too. It was a year-long program, and ended up being there for 19 fucking months.
So you were 22 when you got out, I'm assuming, right?
I was 23.
Jesus Christ.
I came in at 21 and came out at 23.
So
And
your birthdays? Those are the worst. When your birthdays at these places.
the birthdays were terrible.
So.
I'm so stressed out, guys.
You okay?
How
Like
many?
this, yeah, this is stressful. Like, this is,
You okay?
how are
Megan?
you okay? Like, you need to
Megan, are you
understand
okay?
that, like, you being sober is, like, a big fucking deal. Like, you say they don't give a fuck, but just don't get fucked up. Like, you're doing fucking awesome. I just want to throw that out there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Just have that moment because, like, this is stressing me out.
What's stressing you out?
Because, like, this is horrifying. It's no longer a troubled teen industry. You have a man who's
That's
been
why.
repetitively, his parents paid for him in a different way because he was biologically engineered and then owned him and then fucked his whole life up. And,
That's
like,
right. You're like,
he's been through everything survivors have been through. And he is a survivor. And he's an adult survivor.
We were talking for like an hour before I finally got that you were 20, and I'm like, wait a minute. Are
Yeah,
you
that's what
telling
she's
me-
screaming in the voice memo.
Are you telling me that you were 21 when you got to Turnbridge? And you were like, yes. And I was like,
That's it.
and I was just like screaming. I've been leaving screaming messages to everyone I know. I'm like, this
And
guy.
Turnbridge is making a lot of waves because it has like good and bad voices for good and bad reasons. So
Well,
without
because
going into
I can
details,
forget that
it's
there's
wild hearing from a
multiple
survivor.
campuses, that in just Connecticut that there's hundreds, like probably a couple hundred, right?
Yeah, a couple hundred.
Couple hundred people, but it's separate. The way that they're treated in the adult and then the adult do they call it adult?
Yeah, there's a young adult program which is 18 to 31, and then they have the adolescent program which is
Young adult.
14 to 17, and they
Did
got
this man just say 31?
18 to 31 is the young adult program.
Do you know how long is the longest one of the adults has been forced to stay?
Oh, they've been there for years.
I was going to say, put someone there under a conservatorship. They're not getting out. They can Britney Spears their ass forever.
Oh yeah, forever. I mean, I know
Forever.
people.
So these are like really, really rich kids then.
That's why I'm
I-
saying, put them under a conservatorship and they're done.
I know one kid. I'm not going to say his name, but we can call him ZT. That was there for like 3.5 years. It was really regular to meet people that were like, oh yeah, I just got out of Turnbridge. I was there for 2.5 years, or I was there for 3 years, or like
And
something.
they're
like
like
that.
25.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They can keep you forever because the Lauren Springer and the care team basically tell your parents if
If they
Like-
leave, they're going to be a garbage person.
they're,
Is that
they're
one of
Or
the
call
going.
the
things?
police or
They are
withhold
going
your
to
money.
get
So
out.
who knows how much money they went into a 28-day program with
No,
if they're
because
Nepo
it's
fucking
the money
babies.
thing too that they scare the kids because the kids come from money and they're like, if
What
you
the
leave, you're not a part of your family. You have nothing. You're
Yes,
gonna,
yes.
You're
If
gonna be a
you leave,
garbage
you are
person.
not. That's what they do
What
to
I'm
everyone.
saying.
They get the parents to be like, listen, if you leave, like it's over with the family. You're gonna be homeless. You're gonna be nothing.
Jails,
Everyone,
institutions, or death.
yes, jails,
Because
institutions.
that's the whole thing with
exactly.
Nick Reiner. With Nick Reiner killing his father. Was that Nick Reiner went to
Oh, yeah,
at
he
least
Menendez
six-
them.
Like, Nick Reiner went to at least 6 Troubled Teen Industries facilities before he turned 18. When he turned 18, he was let out of one in Utah. Then he was in at least, he was in 30, he completed 30 rehabs before, like, as of 7 years ago when he was on a podcast talking about it. He completed 30 because he had to because of his father, because of Rob Reiner telling him that you can't be a part of the family unless you are sober. So the night he was killed, he went to a party at Conan O'Brien's house because Rob Reiner was still like handling his sons, telling him he was going to go to rehab the next day. Of course, he didn't wake up. He didn't want to go back to another rehab because he'd been to well over 30 at that point, you know? So I mean, like, but it's like, because because that basically that's what happens. Like, if you continually like try to force your child to be
Can I say something?
it's like that. It's that what people don't understand. So it's like the WASP, the kids that went to the WASP programs were mostly foster families. So they didn't come from money. They were like, and a lot of them, like, there's a loophole. If you're a foster parent, you can adopt like 4 foster kids, send them all to different facilities. And you're still getting foster care money just as long as you buy them like socks once a month or some shit like that.
And
Like,
you have them on Medicaid, and Medicaid's paying the TTI.
right. And it also is, it's like it's only paid for as long as they go out of state too for some reason. So, and it's usually Utah. Like, Utah is the epicenter of the shit. It's Utah, Washington. It used to be California, but now it's not anymore. But a lot of it's Utah, and then a lot in the South because of religious exemptions. The fuck was I saying?
You were talking about
Sorry.
Nick Reiner.
Yeah.
So Nick, but so Nick Reiner. So it's if you're moneyed, you have to be sober to be a part of the family. Is a huge.
Technically, you were
thing.
talking about WASP and how WASP community
okay,
fits
yes.
in.
So I feel like the WASP programs, those kids didn't come from fucking vast amounts of wealth, or else they actually would have gone to different schools. Those were like the kid. I mean, those schools
They're the most
cost a lot of
accepting
money,
people, though.
But it seemed like to me that most of those were like, because it was paid for by the state or because these were foster kids going into. It still cost their parents like $100K. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just a snooty thing, but like, I don't know. But like a lot, like there were, I don't know. There weren't like poor kids at freaking Hyde, were there?
Not that I knew, no, because like everyone that like harassed me after Hyde that went to Hyde, like made it very clear that we went to Hyde, and I didn't want anyone to know that I had gone to Hyde. And not because I was like embarrassed by it, but because like I don't know, like it was shitty. Like what happened to me there was shitty, and they like harassed me and like mocked me about my like online now they're saying I deserve to get raped, for example.
Oh God, yeah, no.
So like this isn't about me. Let's get back to you and WASP. And nobody was poor at Hyde, and Medicaid wasn't accepted by Hyde because they were governed by the Board of Education. However, I do think Graydon Manor accepted Medicaid. My parents, however, told me they paid out of pocket for Graydon Manor, which just brings me back to this real quick. But I was eligible for Medicaid being adopted.
Is that what would happen is that my dad paid out of pocket for CEDU, but he was paid back. Because when I got to CEDU, they said because I took 10 Tylenol in a quote unquote suicide attempt, because my dad was like, what's the most amount of Tylenol you've ever taken? I said, 10. That's a suicide attempt. That was because they needed something billable to insurance later. So he footed it after I graduated, then he got that money back. But yeah, so I don't know. But it's weird, but
I rambled,
like
WASP, Hyde, no one was poor.
But it's not, because like even at CEDU, it wasn't all rich kids. There'd be kids like that were there because like their school system sent there, or their church sent them there, or
Court's ordered.
Yeah, there were court ordered people there that like the state was paying for it mixed in. But yeah, but basically it was like adopted kids, and then if you weren't adopted, you were a celebrity's kid or like somebody's famous's kids most of the time, and it was very weird because of that.
So that's where Hyde differed, but he can explain probably for him.
Whose parents, if they were there for 3 years at freaking Turnbridge, that's like $1 million.
Yeah, something like that.
So they must have been like Rockefellers and something. Did you know who they were, like, in the world, or like who their parents were in the world?
I
mean, I know that's like a weird thing to ask.
A lot of the parents were pretty fucked up, and also not very smart, because they were getting manipulated by the care team. Like the smart parents were not buying into it because they were like smart enough to see through it. They'd be like, "Why are all the houses unlicensed? Why are all the case managers unlicensed? Who's running the daily life? Oh, the case managers. Why do they all have criminal records?" Like these are pretty basic questions, but nobody was asking those questions. So basically, from what I understand, a lot of the parents were kind of like drug addicts themselves, or didn't want to parent their kids, or were existing in the same like adoption style TTI pipeline.
Right.
So like the parents weren't very discerning or like very intelligent
It was
if
no
I'm
longer their problem. They signed
yeah.
away their rights. They weren't concerned.
Yeah, because when you sign those Turnbridge contracts, you might think you're signing a 28-day program or whatever, but really you're signing away your rights, and it's extremely illegal. And they've now stopped doing this, but for years they did this, and they never got called to account. And this is one of the reasons the DPH is investigating them right now.
What did they stop doing? I'm sorry, because I was coughing. What did they say? They
They they
stopped doing.
stopped they stopped lying to kids about the length of the program after before they signed the contracts and revealing the truth after. Now I'm pretty sure they're straight up.
So yeah, that because that was the thing we had at CEDU that I appreciated at least was that when we got there we were like, oh, you're gonna be here 2.5 years, and you're like, god damn. But at least they didn't lie about that. But that was an anomaly in the other with the other places.
So Hyde
Every
wasn't like that. Hyde was a
every
school.
single survivor will tell you that they lied about the length of stay.
So Hyde wasn't necessarily like that, but they did kind of do the cult thing. I do want to touch on what he did say because remember what he said because by then they had bought into the cult, so they allowed me to stay or whatever, or I thought I should stay. Hyde does convince, and I didn't graduate Hyde. I then went to Graydon, and then I got mainstream back into public school and graduated. But Hyde does convince kids to stay for an extra senior year, which is a fifth college preparatory year. So they do keep a hold of you and your family for that fifth year and bleed you dry of that money if they can.
And
And
then, but
most
even
people
with
they
Hyde,
do.
it's almost like but you also have the summer session. So if you're the high, if you're
Yeah.
full Hyde is summer session, then 4
Yep.
years, and then your senior, and then the
Then
senior
you do your
year.
fifth senior year and you graduate and you walk.
Yeah, Hyde's
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah, they had for
Um,
a while at Turnbridge. They had Thrive, where they would force kids into Thrive. I remember
what's
there.
that mean? What was that called? What was that? Look, explain.
Thrive was like a they have 3 phases of the Turnbridge program. This was like a phase 4. They've since closed down Thrive, but they had one situation where they put my grand sponsor. He went through Turnbridge, and he had a situation where he had completed the program, and he was like, "Oh, I want to go home," and he had made plans with one of the Turnbridge staff members to go live together. And then Tom Marzelli went to allegedly Tom, fuck you straight up if you're watching this, suck my balls. But Tom allegedly went to this dude and was like, "Listen, we're gonna fire you if you move in with this guy because we want to bleed more money out of his parents to send him to Thrive." So that's like kind of similar to the Hyde fifth year situation.
Yeah, no. So at CEDU, some of the people that I like that I knew that graduated have really bad complexes because they graduated at like 19, and then it was like, and that they that even when kids were there at CEDU with older, the younger people were like, why don't you leave? And they were like they didn't. It was even hard for them to explain to the people that were under 18 why they weren't leaving, and it was like because I have nowhere to go. Because CEDU's told my parents that I'm not allowed to leave. That like I'm not allowed to be a part of the family. And also they're like they would also a lot of times they'd be like you have to finish your high school diploma at CEDU, and so you have to stay post graduation because there wouldn't be enough credits. Little did I know that none of our high school diplomas would ever be counted ever for real. Like they didn't count at all. But yeah,
I do know you guys were not accredited. None of you got your diplomas. Getting into college has been difficult for some survivors from you. I do
yeah,
want to
I'm
say that.
lucky because I
Yeah,
still have my junior and senior year of high school, so like that I have a diploma because of that. But if I didn't, I wouldn't like most. Yeah,
nothing.
it's really fucked
Nothing.
up. Yeah.
Done. Like, fuck you, you didn't exist, you have no education.
So what was your okay? I want to get into like what did they do for therapy for you at Turnbridge?
I have a question too. So don't let me ask what therapy is. And when you explain what therapy is, you keep talking about phase 1, phase 2, phase 4.
Yeah,
Can
because that's the
you
stuff
explain
that's
any of that?
TTI related, like that, like that's
Because
like
I understand that. I'm
So you know
curious.
how in the academy at Ivy Ridge they
I
talk
know
or in the
some.
program they
Some.
talked about how in the lower programs you just get humiliated and tortured, and then when you phase up you start doing the torturing and humiliating.
Yeah, they
That
kind of oh,
it's
like the proctor.
and
Go.
and they can kind of threaten you with being sent back down to phase 1. Well, in phase 2 and 3, you didn't do any torturing or humiliating, but you definitely lived under constant threat of getting sent back down to phase 1. And phase 1 was the longest stage of the program, and they could make that last like as well. It wasn't the longest, but it was the worst. And they can make that last as long as it wanted. You were basically in there with a bunch of like mental patients that were like threatening to murder you and like brought knives into their room and all type of shit.
Oh,
And like
sorry.
diff-
Complications.
different houses would divide into like different gangs and shit. And if you went into the wrong house, you would get attacked and like shit like that. Not all the time, but sometimes. Um,
And how many people were you around?
in
Like,
phase 1, it was something like 20 to 30 other people.
okay.
That's at 94, and so that's you had like no phone privileges. You basically couldn't do anything. No computer, whatever. You just had to like do programming all day, every day, and at night AA meeting. So the second you
What do
wake
you
up,
mean by programming? What is that?
it's like, oh, you would listen to some like ex-con talk about how sobriety saved his life, and then you'd repeat, rinse and
It's
repeat
not
for.
funny. It's not funny.
What do you mean? No, no, no. Explain more. So you'd listen to what you are you talking about? Like you'd listen to like motivational speeches, and then you'd have to talk. Then you'd have to like write a report on the motivational speech.
It's basically like motivational speeches all day, and then like lying down and listening to like hawk sounds or something. I remember the one they loved was "Be the Eagle." They loved that shit. They'd make us listen to "Be the Eagle" every fucking day. It was like a motivational
What's
speech
be?
about a fucking eagle.
Does Jonathan Livingston Seagull? Do you know what that is?
What's that?
So okay, what do you mean by be the eagle? Like we're telling you to like. So you would listen to binaural beats, and they would have you imagine flying basically in your head.
Not binaural beats, but basically like I guess basically binaural beats like
No, because
like
you told me because I specifically asked you, I was like, well, did they make you listen to music and do therapy at the same time? And you said that there was something that I.
yes, there was a lot like that.
So what
But
was the
it wasn't
music?
it wasn't the same thing as like what happened at CEDU or at the Academy at Ivy Ridge. It was more so they just play like chill lo-fi hip hop beats to study to, and like talk to you about like whatever. Like the therapy was so bad I don't even remember any of it. The
So
therapy
it
was
wasn't abusive. It was like benign, it wasn't. It
I
was
feel
like
like
new
it's
agey,
so
but it
like
wasn't
if he's
abusive.
saying be the eagle, clearly it had an effect.
No, no, no. But if there's a difference. But was it negatively or abusive to you? Was it forced upon you, or it just didn't
it
work?
was forced upon us, but it wasn't abusive. It was just pointless. It was just
Okay.
anyone above like a certain amount of intelligence. It was just like masturbatory and ridiculous. I don't even remember what it was. I didn't get a damn thing out of it. Um, and we basically do that all day, and then at night you'd have to find a way to an AA meeting. And if you didn't find a way to
I
an
feel like
AA
I'm
meeting,
facing a similar situation, which is why I'm having my moments. But keep
like
going.
there,
Megan,
basically you
shush.
had to get on the home phone and find someone to take you to a meeting. And if you couldn't find someone to take you to a meeting, then you'd stay longer in phase 1. So like basically most of phase 1 was basically spent calling people to try to get them to take you to an AA meeting.
You mean like calling like when who like?
Like random people. I remember one time I called some guy to take me to an AA meeting, and he took me there and he tried to fuck me, and then
Just
later
random people, like strangers in Connecticut?
yes, and
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Start again. Shut the fuck up. So they would have you cold call strangers to get you to take them to an AA meeting with them?
they give you a list of names of people that they know went to meetings. None of them were vetted. They just tell you to call certain people and to go to like meetings and get numbers and call
It's
these.
like their network.
Yes, basically, like your sober network, and they would basically make you make it from scratch, and none of these people were like vetted or anything, and you had to get a ride. Like maybe they'd take you to a meeting, but you wouldn't get credit for it, and you wouldn't get out of phase 1. To get out of phase 1, you had to get people to come pick you up from the home phone. And like sometimes these people are completely fucking crazy. Like for example, I met one dude that wouldn't stop coming on to me and kept begging for me to send me pictures of my penis to him on the phone.
This is
That
the most bizarre thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. So this is in the beginning. This is right in the beginning of you being at Turnbridge, and you have to do weird, stupid, like some sort of meditation, and then they're like, you have to find a ride with a stranger in Connecticut to take you to the AA meeting that we want you to go to.
Yep.
What the motherfucking shit?
It was weird as fuck.
Sorry, I don't. Normally that's me. I've just had a day where I can't cry anymore. Like, I can't scream or cry.
I totally get that.
I went nuclear in public because I was having an autistic meltdown and
How
hangry.
the goddamn many times did you have to do this fucking culty shit? Because you know what? It reminds me of something we had to do.
We had to do it every day.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And if you didn't do it, then you wouldn't phase up.
How?
And let me guess, you couldn't graduate unless you got through the phases, hypothetically, was the goal.
You couldn't graduate, and they're telling your parents. Like,
I was going to say, I figured they're threatening to send you somewhere worse.
So where are the people? Are these people that are in the AA meetings? And so it's like, oh, these people are going to the AA meetings, and so that's. Is that what it is?
No.
It's people that had to, just random people that were going to these AA meetings had to come pick you up.
How did Turnbridge know or have a list of the people that were going to go to an AA meeting?
Well, they would like take you to a few meetings, and you were supposed to go and meet people and get their numbers.
So you're supposed to.
That's normally because, like,
basically, you're saying, like, is that what it is?
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, find a sponsor and also find people willing to take you to meetings.
You know, that sounds familiar now. So I've gone to meetings with my friends in Connecticut just for fun before. And I feel like I've heard people say that after meetings. That, like, I feel like I've heard people say, like, that they were trying to meet people so that they could have rides.
Yes.
This sounds familiar.
Yeah.
This is cataclysmic. Bitch.
Because that part sounds fucking familiar to Connecticut. And I don't know why. Okay.
You probably met some Turnbridge kids.
But Turnbridge isn't, but this was like...
Kari, you're pretty public. Like, baby, you are.
No, I know. Okay, so this was... No, but so when I remember...
like, you are.
This was when I was a nanny. So this was right when I came back from Philly. So this was when Lost was on TV. When Lost was on TV, was there Turnbridge?
Yes. I believe Lost started in 2005. And Turnbridge started in 2003.
Fuck.
So if they were always doing that culty shit, that's fucking... Because I think that I've been at meetings and heard people say that before. And wondered what, like... But I feel like people say that to people... Isn't that just what you say to people?
No, I think you're a cult expert and you're figuring it out.
In Connecticut, and that's because there were Turnbridge people around.
Yeah. Most likely. I'm not going to lie.
Stop. That's what Megan said. Stop! That's what Megan's saying.
But I didn't say it. I was like,
stop. All right, Jesus Christ. So you were there for how many months? You've asked just random strangers in Connecticut to pick you up at Turnbridge and bring you to a meeting with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is a win.
That's literally the craziest thing. I thought that I'd be surprised.
These are adults, like, without voices.
Because, but it's also the school is like making you do this, or else you can't.
You can't graduate, yeah.
But it's
or you don't get your money, or you get the cops called on you.
Like trying to tell these people about what's going on in Turnbridge. But it's like, why that? Because that's the whole thing. It's like the thing with the hospital is like asking you what hospital you went to and seeing if it's the same one all the time. It's like it's because it's not necessarily for insurance reasons, whatever. It's so you don't fucking talk. It's because that like when you tell people at least at one place the school can tell the people around, oh, they're gonna say crazy things. Don't believe them. They're lying or whatever. And they're going to guess, they can easily guess what you would try to say to get out, right? So they're just going to, so they'll know to not believe the child, right? So the weird thing about strangers being a cult, and then the cult telling you to have strangers drive you to somewhere else or else you can't. It's the fucking craziest fucking thing I've ever fucking heard.
Yeah, you get there, you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do what I need to do to get out, but you don't realize that even if you do whatever you need to do, you're gonna be there for a year or more. You know,
But like
there's
that's how they brainwash them.
there's nothing
That's
you
how
can
they
do.
break them.
But what is like the indoctrination? Like, what are they trying to make you like believe? Like, is it like just the regular AA shit? Like,
It's shit like, well, they want you to become a support staff, and it's like it's not just regular A shit. They want you to join the Turnbridge family.
Remember, then it goes back to the proctor and the
well,
good
that's
and
like
the
the Synanon
bad.
thing of like it used to be that like Synanon was like the first rehabs, but then it was like at some point with Synanon they didn't let you leave anymore. So it's
So,
like, but it's the same thing. They
so
want they.
Turnbridge is like the 80% rehab version of us, of the TTI.
No, it's fucking. Turnbridge is the is the most seedawiest place I've fucking ever heard because
But it's like it like took an amalgamation then of everything because then they like a lot of it rings very true, which is
Hold on, we
also
gotta
why
shut the
he
fuck
says
up
the
and let him tell
TTI
you.
intersect. Okay, shut. I'm really not
So
saying that much.
no, it's okay. So what, like, what the therapy? So it was like they'd make you do like just weird meditation that was just like benign during the day, and then like you'd find a fucking ride from a stranger to AA, and then after that, what happened?
Then you'd come home, you'd do chores, you'd have the night meeting. They would say like who's doing the best. Um, they'd like shout out like certain clients. Then they'd say certain things that need to get done, and then they'd have clients volunteer for certain things, and they'd get a shout out to Tom Marzelli or whoever was doing the logs at phase one at that specific time. Um, I
The
don't know what it was.
volunteer thing, was that like a thing where like oh you have to they would ask people to volunteer and like you would have to like kind of like volunteer and it'd be most of the time it'd be something shitty but sometimes it'd be something good.
It would always be something shitty. It'd never be something good.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes they might give you like an extra ice cream or something.
It's like fucking Hunger Games.
Yeah, because they would do the test at CD, but it was yeah.
I remember you said that.
But
That's
like
what I
us,
said.
but
I
like
always think of Hunger
for us
Games.
volunteering, there'd be like something shitty most of the time. But then like 10% or like no 5% of the time, it'd be like, oh, volunteer. We need 12 volunteers. Oh, go play basketball with the Harlem Globetrotters on the basketball court for 2 hours. I got picked for that. And what was funny is after that, people were so mad at the people that got
But
picked for that. Like that, it was like our fault that we got picked for that. I was like, dude, I don't have any basketball fucking dreams. I'm sorry that I got picked to play with the fucking Harlem Globetrotters. I'll remember it for the rest of my life. But yeah, it was like weird shit like that.
oh
But
no.
most of the time it's like something gross. But yeah. But it's weird. Just weird words will come up over. But the stranger thing, right? So at CEDU, our last thing that we had to do was called the summit. It was like a 5-day summit, and on one of the last days, we had to do this thing where we had to go into town and we had to talk to strangers, and we had to like we were supposed to like get a phone number, buy somebody a meal, and like exchange phone numbers with somebody. It's like these three things. My peer group, they fucked it up, and we didn't. We were supposed to go to a soup kitchen. They drove a fucking van full of white kids to a soup kitchen in LA. The soup kitchen looked at us and was like, "Get the fuck out of here." So the experiment didn't happen. But it's like supposed to be like some sort of weird thing of like because the reason cults work because even if there's locks or there doesn't need to be locks on the doors. Do you know what I mean? For a cult to work, like there was never locks on the doors of CEDU. So like that's a really like culty thing of being like you can leave but you can't leave kind of a thing. Like you almost it like proves it's a cult if you're able to like walk around the free world sometimes, but you're still forced to come back.
I just want to say nobody has successfully left Turnbridge without parental support. Nobody. I can't think of not a single person
That like
that
like what do you mean
like people graduated, but if you want, nobody has ever left early of their own.
wait, explain a little more.
Yeah, help.
Like what do you mean like they like left early? Like well no, because you're stuck there, so it's like
Like nobody has ever left. The only conditions for you being able to leave is your parents pull you out or you graduate. That's it.
And so your
That's
parents
high.
pulled you out, right?
No, I graduated.
Oh, I didn't get that you
If
graduated.
you try to leave, you can sign. You can technically sign out, but they can reject your sign out.
How?
And
Because the only thing they should, sorry, legally be able to do is AMA you against medical advice, but they should still be able to let you leave.
well, they
But you're
did that.
saying no.
No, they straight up rejected people sign out, and they
So
would.
what does it take to grad? So like, what is graduate? What is yeah? What does it take? What does it take to graduate Turnbridge?
You have to go through the phases that
You
we
got
keep not getting to.
you got to get through phase one. You got to get through phase two, and then you got to get through the longest phase, which is phase three, where you basically sit around doing nothing, watching TV. And that's phase three.
So they don't. So there's never. Is there ever points where you're like forcefully crying or like really like
Being
like
hugged. The
it just
smushing thing
was
is
there any
weird.
like I feel like you'd like really cry or like dig deeper like was there any of
That
that?
was the adolescent program.
That's
That
yeah. So it's
that
just
wasn't
like it's so weird. So it's like what did they? You were just bored most of the time.
bored, or if you're in phase one, most likely terrorized. Yeah, terrorized. I say
So
a
can I
lot.
ask a stupid question? What we know of Turnbridge then is going to most likely, Kari, be the adolescent program. Because that's why this is so shocking hearing of the adult program. So it could make sense that it operates slightly differently, even though it's taken models.
So yeah, tell us more. We need to shut up. Tell us more about like a just day to day like what it was at the different levels of you like an adult at Turnbridge.
Well, phase two, you'd wake up early in the morning and you'd go out over to Iris, which was the immigration and refugee intake place.
That's the crazier fucking one. Yeah, tell us about this
And
one. This
they
was a fucking crazy thing.
basically have you work from like 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And the lady that worked there, if she thought you were cute or attractive, she wouldn't make you do any work. But me, unfortunately, I had to do the work. I was not cute enough, so I had to work.
But you were working at our immigration services
Yeah,
like off the books.
off the books, yeah. And we worked for several hours, and
Were you
basically
doing
what.
like paperwork or just like cleaning or like?
Well, you'd start off cleaning and moving the shelves around, and then you would start packing the trucks. And then after you pack the trucks, then you'd go to people's houses and you'd unload the trucks.
So not only was it like forced labor,
Do
but it
you
was
hear
like
what she
manual labor.
said? Immigration service that he was working
Yeah,
at
it was
child
unpaid
labor
forced
at
labor for
immigration
the state.
services.
Yes.
Basically, yeah.
And it
Yeah,
wasn't like simple like file this paperwork. It was do this manual labor for the government for free.
Yeah,
and then what were
So
your
I like I'm
while it was very hot.
and then so what were your afternoons and then nights and stuff in phase two?
Afternoons were the recovery groups with Chris McDaniel. I actually spoke to Chris McDaniel. He's in a deep relapse at the moment.
So that's also the thing is that most of your counselors were ex-drug addicts that
Yeah,
right.
I spoke to Chris McDaniel. He said he wanted to see me in a dress and he wanted to fuck and all this other shit. So I don't know, but he was our recovery coach 3 times a day.
that's traumatizing.
Hmm.
So was what was the Wednesdays thing where you would the like the
We talk Wednesdays.
yeah, was that you or was that with the adolescents?
That was the adolescence. Um,
Um
What
so
was
yeah,
that? I don't know.
yeah, cool. So that was like to me it was like it felt like the rap thing, like that we had to see like the
Okay, I
adolescent
know. Okay,
was,
bypass. I know exactly what you're talking about. Understood. Got it.
yeah, they have something that's like a rap that's like
At the
once a
child
week.
program.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood.
So
Sorry.
and so when in these different phases you're kept in different parts of Connecticut, right?
yeah.
And then so what's the third phase?
The third phase is so after you do all the manual labor and all the bullshit, and the second you have to go get a job, and you're working a job out of phase two, and they're taking all your money. You don't
I
get to
was gonna say
keep
they're
any.
gonna keep the money.
They
Where
keep.
did you work?
I worked at Hobby Lobby on Foxen. They kept all my paychecks. And they give you a TrueLink card, which they control, and they can take all the money out of it, and you can't spend it at like any place they don't want you to spend it, and they like, they basically regulate your money. So you
Did your like friends that you worked at Hobby Lobby with like fucking know about this shit?
I didn't have any friends at Hobby Lobby. They didn't like me very much. I didn't give a shit about the job. I was just trying to vape and just do whatever, and then eventually they fired me.
So what year? So what time period were you looking at working at the Hobby Lobby, and what town in Connecticut was it?
This was in East Haven.
I'm not a Connecticut person, but this is.
I know exactly where that is. That's where I've been to that fucking Hobby Lobby before.
Yeah. On Foxen.
I need to do some research on it. I just know from the one person that like followed me and unfollowed me, and like I guess.
No,
like,
because
I can't say anything.
So it's the weird. So what? They made you work at Hobby Lobby. What were you like full time? Was this part time?
I was full time.
For how many months you to work at Hobby Lobby?
Maybe like 6 months, something like that.
You
Stop
worked
it.
full time at Hobby Lobby for 6 months, and your paycheck went to Turnbridge.
Yeah.
And your parents were getting charged tuition as well.
Yeah.
And then, Jesus fuck.
So the state kept your money again for unpaid
Not
labor.
the state, the school.
The school that time. So the state benefited the first time, and then the school benefited the second time, and neither way you saw a dime.
You off from Hobby Lobby?
I took the bus.
Oh my fucking God.
Like, how does this happen?
I don't know. Yeah. So were you just like, in the whole time, like you just felt like you couldn't leave because
then I'd be dead to my family.
Right. And it's like, yeah, that's right. But it's the whole thing is to most people, they would be like, so I'll just leave. It's like, but when you come from amount of money that we did, or I think you probably have more than mine, but like, it's
I mean, I kind of get.
So yeah, but like.
And also, you're just straight up homeless if you leave. You're straight up just homeless.
And in Connecticut,
I went into a shelter before I met my husband.
And they're not going to take you in because they're going to say you have a bed. It's at Turnbridge, right?
Yeah. You're basically trapped.
It was a different situation, though. It's in my book. Like, the chief of police had to transport me across state lines because I was dating this guy. It was like Alex Murdaugh of Lordstown, and like I would have ended up dead.
So when you're an adult and you're working at Hobby Lobby full time for 6 months, how many other people are also doing this? Do they also working at random jobs? Was there anybody that
they're all working at random jobs?
Just random, like jobs.
Was it like do they tell you where to apply? Do you just randomly apply? Do they give you a list? Do you have pre-approved? Like, what happens?
They had this dude Eric working there that would take us to walk-ins with various jobs.
So it was guided without being guided.
Yeah.
Most likely. Okay.
Yeah, also
interesting.
they had contacts at some jobs.
So the city or the area is in fucking bed with this shit because there's so many fucking locations, I'm guessing.
So you're assuming that probably that Hobby Lobby's had multiple people that went to
Turnbridge. They had multiple Turnbridge clients.
I need to stop saying fuck.
No, because I didn't know, this is shit I did not know on multiple levels, and it's different because Connecticut is tiny. Like, and where we're talking about, it's like, I know most of my guitar repair shop, my first one, was a mile away from where the dorms were for the adolescents. Dude. There's like this, about like the 3 phases, but you do know a lot about the adolescents because you have your log, because of that log that you have.
Yeah, because I've talked to a lot of adolescent clients.
Okay, yes, the log.
The adolescent client is different from the adult program in that there's just riots all the time in the fucking adolescent program. Riots all the time.
Yeah, so
I'm guessing they're getting beat often.
It's not like we have to find out like what they are, what the therapy is. Like, Are
Do they
they
use
regressing the
restraints?
kids to like, are the kids at some point regressed emotionally that they're supposed to be speaking like even like mommy and daddy terms? Are they like, like
They don't use restraints in the adolescent program. However, I've heard from former clinicians that worked at the adolescent program that they've tackled various clients and things like that. It's been
no, and I
Do
know
they
that's
use
I know that's
regression therapy? Do you know about
see that's
that? Are we allowed to ask?
do they use
um,
what? Megan, even like you didn't like it's basically brother's keeper. Like there are all these like the things that
Oh shit, they had a brother's keeper?
no,
No,
no. I don't
fuck
think that
off.
we don't know that yet. We don't know that yet. But that's the kind of things that I'm trying to find out if there are in Turnbridge, which I don't know yet.
the adult program was kind of like Brothers Keeper because if you knew somebody did something and they know that
Shut
you
the
know,
fuck up.
they know that you know,
Common rehab
but,
thing.
You're in
but
trouble.
yes, you get in big trouble. You get phased down, all type of shit.
How
Because
did you know what brother's keeper meant without me explaining it to you?
because we've talked about Brothers Keeper before.
Oh, cause okay, all right.
Yeah,
I
that happened to
haven't.
me.
I've never spoken to him, so hi.
I got the
Like,
screws put to me one time. They were like, "Yo, we know that Mikey Wobbles was getting high. Like, yeah, we know you know, so you better give that shit up." Like, and I was like, "Fuck." Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I mean with
yeah.
us like it was so bad that like if we knew something that like after I graduated, the day that like so the week that like I hung out with Paris Hilton, I was mostly supposed to go hang out with my friend Jessica Collins, this girl that I was like really good friends with at CEDU. She was my little sister at CEDU. So after that week with Paris, Jessica was like, "You spent the whole fucking week with Paris Hilton. Give me cigarettes to smoke because my peer group before the group that I graduated with, we famously broke all the rules and like we barely were allowed to graduate. And so they're like, she was like, let me do something
fuck.
bad before I graduate CEDU. So I gave her some cigarettes. I left and I told my friends I was with that I did that. And they were like, oh my God, you have to tell staff that you gave Jessica cigarettes. And I'm like, I'm not telling staff. They're like, well, if you don't, they will. So that's how much the brother's keeper was with CEDU. It's like, even after we graduated, they still told on each other. We still
I
told
mean,
on
there was hardcore Brothers Keeper at Turnbridge. Hardcore.
So then that must be. And was that in the adolescent or like you felt
The
that
adult.
there?
Yeah, I felt that in the adult program.
So
I
did
don't know
they?
if that
So
would
they.
work in the adolescent program because the adolescents were always just beating the shit out of each other and rioting and all.
But like Turnbridge sounds like it's like a TTI slash Synanon still derivative for adults. Like what the fuck?
So did they
Well,
make you like talk about like all your past and so that you would bond? Was there a lot of that to it?
it was just like normal therapy stuff. But what I will say about it being a TTI program, it was founded in 2003 during like the troubled teen industry boom. It's parent funded, long term placement, phase system. The family contact is tightly controlled, and parents are pressured to hold the line. Like if they catch you on the phone with your parents asking to come home, they're gonna take you off the phone. That happened to me. The
Yeah.
adolescents got about like 1 hour a day of schooling, so like they weren't walking away with shit. They were just like given an hour of schooling. If they were really into it, they could have an hour and a half. The clients are housed in unlicensed recovery houses. The case managers aren't licensed either, and it's break you down to build you back up. Resistance is proof you needed the program. I've told the story before of a staff member, Alex, because he always wore grills, was talking about, oh, I really feel like Turnbridge brainwashed me. And then John Stewart, the head of the phase one, was like, your brain needed washing. And I guess Alex got a little upset over this. And then later, Alex was like, actually, you're totally right. When I said that a few days ago, my brain did need washing. And then like everyone started clapping, and it was like, good job, Alex. Like blah blah
That's
blah.
very Heidi.
No, that's the most culty thing, like agreeing that
That's very
we
Heidi.
need
Like
reprogramming.
my rape was my fault.
Yeah.
Remember? Like fuck you. Like take accountability for your rape or like like what the fuck? I got shamed. Like fuck you. I was 16.
See, and that comes from Est. There was this whole ideology of Est where, if like for example, if you were adopted and you were sad about that, that was wrong. Because when you're adopted and you tell other people that you're adopted, that means you're the saddest person in the room. That means that you have the most empathy. That means you have the most power. So, oh, I'm adopted.
Ew.
That's a power because I walk around and people feel sorry for me and I can use that when I talk. That's what est is. So that kind of spills over. I think that that's where that comes into when them saying that like, oh,
But like
you
all the
raped,
TTI kids are
like
adopted, and
that's
I
a
had no
power
idea.
because you have the saddest thing, whatever. You're not really mad about your rape because you have so much empathy and you.
I think that's
It's a
I'm gonna
weird
counter
thing.
that. I'm gonna counter that though with I think that's just a TTI basis. Like you left me the voice memo. How many of us have been sexually assaulted or raped? We're sexually assaulted at home, covering up for abuse, or raped in a program or before a program.
I
How
was
many of
sexually
us are
assaulted.
autistic? How many of us are adopted? There's so many hit points that he also hits that are just not necessarily superpowers. They're just like they are 98% of the TTI.
Well, no, yeah, the statistics of us, there's adoption, our parents being in the military, doctors, or in some sort of like.
My dad's just a god in the toll systems.
But it's like adoption. Every one of us has ADHD. Most of us have a little bit of autism, but because of the forced institutionalized the forced institutionalized like state for so long, I can't be music and auditory shit with me is just a nightmare at this point because of
TikTok links too.
music or like we had to touch each other all the time with smushing. So now, to
Oh,
me,
yeah.
I'm really touchy in a good way, but that had an adverse reaction for a lot of people. But I think that like it almost made people have a little bit more autistic or like not like we're autistic afterwards, but we get diagnosed as autistic afterwards because of what they did.
I got sexually assaulted at Turnbridge.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah.
By a male staff too, right?
Not by a staff, by a client.
Oh,
These
shit, but-
fucking rates are staggering.
This was at,
And I'm so sorry because like what you've been through, like what we've all been through. Let's just put it
I
that
thought
way.
that, wait, hold on, wait. So, but wait, this was, because you reported this. I thought that it was, I thought it was male staff on you, but it was another client, and then
I reported it to staff and nothing happened.
Oh, that's what it was.
And
right.
then later, this same client went and pulled down my underpants in front of everyone at the next house after I reported it.
And then and then nothing happened. Of course, nothing happened after that.
Yeah, nothing happened. The sexual assault occurred at 1212 Quinnipiac Avenue. This was one of the phase 3 houses. This was late 2022, and then
What town?
Does this have anything to do with a book?
What town? No, the Quinnipiac Avenue. What town though?
This was in East Haven.
East Haven. Okay. Yeah.
And then the forced exposure was right by the clinical building, the house right by the clinical building in early 2023. So it's frequent, and they don't give a shit. And like from the log and from what the memo and what everyone has told me, they never give a shit. And this happens all the time, but usually it's not other clients doing it. Usually it's staff. Like I was kind of an anomaly that another client did it, but like other clients do it sometimes. But really, it's usually the staff grooming the adolescent clients.
I mean, that's habitual with all of. So you were dorms or like regular ass houses in Connecticut too, though, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what's weird too is that like there's probably like your neighbor might be a Turnbridge fucking dorm.
Yeah.
Which is
There's more to say about why it's a TTI. There's the fear-based messaging, like the kids and the parents are told that if you leave, you're gonna die.
yeah.
Then there's the medication pressure. Oh, they make you take those fucking meds, whether you like it or not. And if you don't take those meds, you're non-compliant, and then that's a big issue.
Do you remember what medication they made you even take?
I was on a whole cocktail. I was on something like.
Could they downgrade your phase? Like if you graduated a phase, could they regress you back and then prolong your graduation?
Oh yeah, that happened to me like 1,000,000 times.
Fuck the fuck off.
Yeah, that happened to me like 10 million times. Like.
So you could
I'm
be
done.
like having a job at Hobby Lobby and
Done.
then going back to having to fucking figure out rides to AA?
Yep, that happened all the time.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I hate my life. Like I hate my life.
Fucking distance to me. Do you understand? This is like
Sorry, you had a whole process processing moment of being one of these possible sober rods. So at least we not forget.
I just remember hearing this, and like it just sounds so familiar.
What
like,
about? Oh no!
Making it up, but like,
Can I message you?
We're scaring on your friend. Chill. All right. So, yeah, I want to let you just talk a little more, like, because this is, you've never really spoken been on anybody else's podcast before, or talked about, like you've done work before, but yeah, like,
Yeah,
I mean, no, you're a part of, okay.
Independent, So
like,
what
are you, because you're like, are you gonna try to like sue Turnbridge? Like, what is your end, like, not end game?
I'm
but, like,
trying. I just sent in my memo to the lawyers at Griffin Purnell, so we'll see. I already sent it in to the Attorney General, and they're processing it right now. And DPH has started an investigation into Turnbridge based on the fraudulent intake understandings and then the contracts that were signed.
You might be able to go after Health and Human Services too if they're billing Medicaid for any of these children, and go the insurance route as well. Just FYI.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's definitely the next step. I hate these people. It's a burning hatred,
Burning hatred.
I just exist.
You're like a child actor, like, yeah, you fucked up some stuff, but it wasn't your fucking fault, like,
Yeah, I was supposed to be
I have no
famous.
clue who he is. What were you? Can you talk about what you were in? Like, what was it like? Can we talk about?
I was in Italian studies, and like, if I kept going, who knows where I'd be right now. I mean, that kind of sounds masturbatory or whatever, but you can look me up.
I feel like I'm not gonna comment.
No, it's not. It's like
that was a bad time to say that too.
It's not no.
Fuck my life.
No, for example, one of the girls that I moved in, do you remember, you're too young to know, you remember Contempo Casuals?
I used to work at Wet Seal, bitch.
Do you remember Contempo Casuals?
Fuck yeah, R&B, let's get it.
Her face was the tag on Contempo fucking Casuals.
That's badass. Yeah,
Dude,
no. So I worked at Wet Seal, but it was like,
this girl
yeah.
in.
We had a Victoria's Secret supermodel at one of the schools.
For him to have been a child actor, that's not uncommon. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But is that why he struggled?
CEDU, I think it was maybe because my mom died when I was so young at CEDU that, like, they encouraged me to, like, they were kind of like, you're allowed to have one privilege because your mom died. Like, you to work for privileges. I'm like, can I have my guitar privilege? And so they let me, because I was a guitar player, and they would, because normally I wasn't allowed to play guitar for like the first year I was there. But they let me because my mom died. So because of that, everyone at CEDU just knew me for playing guitar, and then after
that's why Jen lost her mind when you played your guitar.
Right. That's why people freak out when I play guitar, that know me from CEDU, because I was the good thing that they remembered because I was allowed to play.
Okay, I have a fucked up question. If he's an anomaly because he's a child star, and you're an anomaly because you're CEDU stuff.
No, he's not. He's like I mean,
I don't fit into this equation.
Well, no, because you're a foster kid.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Because that's
like
why you come
2.5
from
years.
a foster kid. It's what It's like it's. I mean, it's not.
I had two different families. I was adopted on Halloween. I say this in my book. It was like my parents' omen. They should have known.
No, and it's not like this is everybody. It's just really common. It's just something that like. It's also common that, like, afterwards, as adults, our parents don't admit that we're broken from these places, yet they continually pay for things that they don't with their other children.
Oh, I feel that.
Just there's just weird, there's just certain things.
My stepbrother gets everything.
It's just true for other people. Some people.
Stepbrother.
There's just weird, commonalities I found. But, So...
There's more reasons I think it's TTI. Like, the Woodbury and Killingworth, they're like in the middle of nowhere. The adolescent program, they're isolated settings.
No, it's a troubled teen industry facility. But so how long have they always had both the adult and children's?
They started bringing in children in 2016.
Oh, so it started as an adult.
It started as an adult program, and then it became a.
So could they put a child in it and take control of the child till they turn 18, then put them under conservatorship and technically keep them till they turn 31?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So were there people that went to the adolescent and then also went to the adult?
That happened all the time.
Are you?
Fuck.
Jesus Christ.
I knew it. I had been waiting to get that one out and I forgot it. Thank you.
So will it be like 6 years, 7 years, stuff like that?
I don't think 6 or 7 years, but definitely like several years. If they came in when they were like 16 or 17, they could definitely stay in the adult program for a few years.
So those are people that lost their like whole life.
Basically,
That's a life sentence, like 25 years. Like that's a life sentence.
we've never heard of anything like Turnbridge. Like Turnbridge is way worse because it's like it's like Synanon when it was just the adults. Like that's full on Synanon, and then now they're it's basically they're like.
Or they break the kids and then warp them into
No,
stuff.
it's like because it's like they started with adults and now they've gotten into kids. Like it's like that really is like Synanon because that's how they started with adults with rehab and like now we have to do children. So that's exactly what Turnbridge is doing too.
yeah, they started housing the children and the adults together until like I think it was like 2019 or something. I'm not sure the exact year, but from 2016.
That would be COVID.
For several years, they housed the adults and the children in the same program.
So do we know the school's founder, like what the ideology came from, like where it came from? So that might be what.
So he was a rehab kid. He was kind of like this sleazy rehab kid, in and out of rehabs. He went to like a bunch. David, who founded it in 2003. Then after this, which is very, very common for like these treatment kids that are like kind of old money, they become private equity guys. Like all the time, they go straight from like rehab and being fuck ups to like being like, all right, go manage daddy's business or whatever the fuck, which is basically what happened to David.
Nepo baby, Instagram boys. Yep, got it.
And then he was a private equity dude, and I guess around 2003 when people were just making serious bank off of like these WASP programs, he had the brilliant idea to start Turnbridge. And that was basically what happened. It was like rehab kid to private equity to let's combine private equity and rehab for profit. And now he's allegedly
a fucking cult leader. He made a sect of it. He's a fucking cult leader.
There's a lot of therapy. There's a lot of therapists in the state that are involved with Turnbridge. Like a lot.
It's dark.
Lot.
It's real
The
dark.
whole fucking state seems involved.
I had no idea so then after, so how would you be able to graduate? Like you work a certain amount of hours, Hobby Lobby? I cannot believe this. The Hobby Lobby shit. I was not prepared for it.
I mean, to
There's
graduate,
no way. This has to be an episode of Punk.
you graduate when like they basically kind of.
I'm not even surprised. I'm more just like, what the how?
I cannot believe the dumb fuckery of Turnbridge. Holy fucking shit.
They just keep you as long as possible, and then finally they have to tell your parents like, oh, they're doing better, because if they're not doing better, then the parents are just gonna pull them out. So it's basically
there couldn't have been any kids from Connecticut, or like nobody from Connecticut went there because was it all out of state mostly?
It was mostly out of state, but I believe it was like 18% were from Connecticut.
I was gonna say Hyde, Graydon. I don't know if I went on Medicaid or not, but I was in state. Like my parents were 30 minutes away.
Because
I can actually look this up. I'm gonna see what.
Because if you're
that was not SAT. That wasn't WASP.
The AA ritual where you get a stranger to drive you to fucking AA or whatever, like.
As soon as he said start asking for rides, I was like, find a sponsor. They're gonna justify it with build your network, get in recovery, meet like-minded people.
Couldn't you just call somebody couldn't you just call somebody like if you were
Oh
from
no. So like I was at Graydon and like we would go to AA meetings. They did the transport. So like I wasn't allowed to socialize with anybody I knew. Like when I went on day passes, my parents had to exclusively.
How would they? Yeah, but I'm asking him, like, if you were at Turnbridge and you were from Connecticut and you had to get a ride to an AA meeting, couldn't you call like a friend of yours?
Because they probably banned them from speaking to anyone they know.
No,
Because that was standard practice. Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
let him answer.
fuck.
Did they ban you from speaking to people you know?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
So like, yeah, because you wouldn't, because you didn't have any friends at Connecticut call, but like you had to, but you had to make like friends at the AA meeting. Like you
Yeah.
couldn't just be like.
Yeah.
What if, like, when you were working at Hobby Lobby, you made friends, you found out that they went to the AA meetings, and you got dropped a level, and you had to go to the AA meetings. Could you call those friends that you had made at Hobby Lobby?
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay.
I mean, I'm assuming, but there was so much arbitrary shit at bullshit at Turnbridge that they didn't explain to us. So I have no idea really.
Because that might have been.
But like
not
one
a
of the main
rule.
things he said was they didn't vet shit.
Right. But
So,
also they're adults, so that like they should, they legally.
true. That's what I don't understand. Like,
Okay. Well, yeah. Let him. Jesus Christ! I gotta stop smoking this.
because they
what else
terrorized them. They broke them as children. They kept them as adults, and as adults, they
Yeah, but he
terrorized
wasn't
them.
even a child. He was there.
But that's what I'm saying. They terrorized. They took his money. They made him think they were going to call the cops. He thought he was going to get cut off. He didn't know what the fuck was going to happen to him. He was held against his will, essentially. It was like a prison that he could leave, but he couldn't.
Yep.
So at what point did they let they know that you were
That
like,
psychologically
you could
breaks
be-
you,
like,
bitch.
How were you allowed to graduate?
I'd been there. Well, I was about to graduate, and then I smoked a joint, and then they sent me back to the beginning of the program, and I was there for another 11 months.
So that means you just do go into
I had to do
rehab and then working at
I had to do the whole program again.
So is there like some sort of like workbooks that you're going through? Is there some sort of like confessions
there's
or like?
There's a workbook. And then eventually they were like, oh yeah, you can graduate in December, and I was like, December, that's too long. And then they just ended up keeping me till May, and I was like, fuck.
Just because you complained about how long it would be.
Yeah, that sucked. And then finally, like, they let me go.
And is there like a ceremony, or it's just like you?
There's a
you're like,
ceremony. They have a ceremony for everyone that graduates.
And is it just you graduates, or a couple people, or?
It was me and two others, and we had our little ceremony and shit.
That's fucked up.
This is
Like, that's-
absolutely insane.
This can't be real life.
How many rehabs are they? Turnbridge in Connecticut. How many? I mean, not rehabs. How
This
many, like,
CERN timeline is wild.
Like, hey, how many AA meetings do you think Turnbridge has people go to?
Well, you got to go to like 6 a week to phase up.
No, but how many like fucking church basements in Connecticut have? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like there's only a certain amount. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
And
I mean,
there's
like,
so
it's-
few of you. You could fly in and under the radar with like a staff member, but you don't even
think
go
the
with a
thing is
staff
that
member.
I know which one it is because I specifically remember, and it's a very, very rich. I mean, I'll ask you later. You can probably confirm.
That also opens up like if he's trying to be sexually assaulted by someone that is in a network of that he's supposed to build, like there's some human like sex trafficking there.
Well, no, it's also like whenever you're,
Whether they knew or they didn't know,
Well,
there's
yeah, 'cause then
complicity.
they
You
were
can't not
vulnerable.
know.
You guys were. I mean, anyway, it's like Facebook Marketplace. I mean, it's and it's like just dangerous to abuse strangers, no matter what. You never know. I mean, Jesus.
This whole thing makes me so angry for you.
But it doesn't seem like there was any like a point of like them emotionally, physically breaking you down.
I think it was just the program. I think that it was a wild guy that took what he thought he knew from a rehab and started some cult and didn't necessarily like have.
So it was like no, it was culty and that was controlling. But did they ever like? Do you ever feel like you were to physically like give in to something and like emote or you know what I mean? Like in the way that you saw in the program, where like you saw the girls like they had to disassociate by doing that weird thing, and they did like they had that the towel.
Oh yeah, the duct tape.
It's called bioenergetics. Or bioenergetics dyads. That's what it was when we had to go through in the profits. But it's like any sort of like putting a action with your body to having an emotion so that you
There was
can,
nothing like that.
yeah, that's what's really weird because that's
See, but like I
that's
didn't
what,
really do that. I told you
well,
that.
because your shit was more Scientology-y because
We
yours
didn't really that's why I scream Scientology, but we didn't have the blue ball, for
yours
example.
yeah,
But
but
like
no, but the
I
blue ball,
can't
I don't
think
know what the
anything.
fucking blue ball is
I'm not
anymore.
allowed to manifest shit, good or bad.
Yeah, we're talking
I
about
can't
weird
have
Hogwarts
thoughts.
stuff that he doesn't understand yet, so we don't.
Oh shit, he doesn't know about that fuck.
No, because
Okay.
I guess that's the whole thing is that
Well, I haven't
Turnbridge,
talked
they
to him.
didn't have that element of what came out of the LGAT movement, what came out of like the human
I don't know what you're
retention
talking about.
movement. I guess that part really didn't make it into the adult part of Turnbridge. We still don't know about the
But they broke
adolescent.
the kids like
I'm thinking that it does though with the adolescent, just because he said the Wednesdays with the list. That's very
you
attack
said
therapy,
rappy.
Synanon, but
Yeah. It's like your raps were.
yeah,
Which is like our discos were.
yeah.
So like I
What
can
else
see
would you
that.
like to say? I want
Sorry.
to ask you like what else you would like to say. Yeah.
Did they involve your family? Because if you were going to get cut off from your family had to be
Yeah,
involved in the process, right?
my family was very involved. They were in the parent program.
Explain that.
I didn't even
The
know.
parent program was this program ran by Lauren Springer, and I don't want to get sued, but I think her husband, but I'm not sure.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Just shh.
And they essentially brainwashed my family into saying, "Oh, if he leaves, he's gonna die." And they had weekly parent groups where even people that had graduated Turnbridge would come in and like participate in these programs. And
So that makes sense. That aligns. That's like threatened to worse or jail institutions and death.
So you would graduate Turnbridge and you'd come back to help Turnbridge with the parent seminar kind of things.
no other parents that whose kids had graduated would come back.
That's like Mary Moore. Hi, bitch.
Oh, so yeah,
Bye,
that's,
bitch.
yes, that's so it's a part of that, like it helps with the recommendation kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
was there? I wonder if there's a financial incentive for those parents to do that, or
I don't
I
know.
wonder.
I'd have to ask my mom about it. I'm getting her to make a testimony video about Turnbridge.
so. What do your parents think
Oh.
about you talking about this? Are they for it or are they against it?
They're like, you need to do your Spanish homework. Blah blah blah. It's such a distraction. You need to focus on your schoolwork. Blah blah blah.
Why do we have? Are you
But
in
do they
school,
believe
college?
you? Do they
What?
believe you that it was like abusive? Do they believe you
Yeah, they
like?
believe it was abusive. They apologize every day for sending me there.
Good. And if his mom's willing to speak out, that's amazing on her. Like
Well,
my
it
dad said,
doesn't
"Fuck
just
you,"
'cause you
basically.
It doesn't mean you're willing to speak out, but like, what do
But
they?
she's willing
do
to support
have they
him.
seen have they seen your Instagram? Like, what do they think of your Instagram?
They told me take it down because you're gonna get sued.
So,
I haven't seen his Instagram.
see. So
I
yeah,
haven't
that's why I
seen
was
it.
like, I don't know if I'm gonna. You have to tell me if I'm allowed to see your name.
But
stuff
you like,
that.
okay, your parents, I understand your parents having caution for what you're doing, but still loving you.
Yeah,
And that's what it sounds like
they
you
love me a
have.
lot, but they're like, dude, you're gonna get sued. You got to focus on your schoolwork. They were like, yo, your Turnbridge work is taking up all your life. You've been consumed by it. You don't do
Well,
anything else.
you shouldn't have sent
Yeah,
me
you should have
there.
sent me there. Like, what do you think was gonna fucking happen? I had a movie career. I had a music career. I was doing shit. I was on the up and up, and you fucking ruined all of that for me. So of course
Oh,
I'm
but we
focused on
saved your
that.
life. Oh, we say, yeah, that's what they say, and it's like, well, no, yeah. I mean, it's,
They
That
don't
was
even
real.
they don't even say that anymore. They're just like, we're so sorry. Please stop.
Do you have
I
nightmares?
don't talk to my
Do you have
family.
nightmares where you're still there?
All the time. All the time.
So that's the biggest thing, definitely. Like that means you have complex post-traumatic stress disorder, because it's the same thing that Vietnam vets, or not Vietnam, like prisoners of war would have, is that if you're scared for that long, that you'll
CPTSD,
that's how
yeah.
that's like the
Which the
biggest
DSM
sign.
does not recognize, but bitch, it's real.
But yeah, so what are the nightmares? Or that you're just still there?
That I'm trapped, that I got high and I got to tell my case manager and I'm going to get sent back to the beginning of the program.
Okay, that makes
That I did
sense.
something bad and the program's going to find out, or somebody snitched on me, or like somebody like something like that, you know.
Man,
So like that makes sense.
wow.
It was like the most militant AA shit I'd ever seen in my life. It's like if AA had like a prison.
So you've been on It's very interesting 'cause it's like we come from very different parts of it, and like my school and her school are very different, but kind of from the same fucking river, and
That makes it sound like we have nothing in common.
no, but it's kind of, and it's true. I mean, you didn't have profits, you didn't have we're slowly figuring out how Hyde and Fidu are similar, but
What the fuck?
but yeah, we still have to find out what they were doing to the kids there. But yeah, but she didn't have school. Like, what the fuck did you do all day? Was it mostly you were just like the abuse was being so bored all the time for like years?
The abuse was largely just because other clients were so violent and crazy, and the staff wouldn't do anything about it.
It
Right,
sounds like an amalgamation of everything horrible.
Tell them about what they would make the new clients do. They'd watch CCTV.
Oh yeah, they like whenever there was like a violent incident, they'd have you. I don't know whenever, but sometimes they'd have the case manager like replay it, and like
For the new clients.
Stop. That's like
Right? It was
horrifying.
for the new clients though, right?
phase 1 clients,
But
and
it's
How
like,
could you not?
but it's like, but that's
and be
that's
like,
like a
oh,
way
look
for-
at him, he's running, and like gauge your reaction, and be like, oh, he's a dumbass, or oh, you flinched, and things like that in front
so
of.
that's a way for like the fucking staff to know, like, oh, if like basing on looking with the new clients reacting to seeing abuse, it's like, oh, if this now I know what kind
I'd
of
be
person I'm
crying.
dealing with. Yeah.
I'd be crying. Like, I'd be fucked up just from that.
Pretty wild.
So you've been shouting on about this for a good 3 years.
Yeah, but it was only in the last few months that people started talking to me, or I really put all the pen to paper, and now I'm just like shouting from the rooftops.
Oh, so you
that's
met our
wild.
friend. So how long ago did you meet our friend?
Maybe a month ago.
No way.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've seen him around on the subreddit.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay. Wow.
I don't exist there,
That's crazy.
so.
So, like, in the time that I had ghosted our friend, I think he had met you, which is pretty fucking insane. Like, I like hadn't checked, and it was like a month later, and he's like, "Oh,
What? See, I know none of
It's
this.
insane."
I have my own.
So yeah. So because what was
Hashtag
interesting
fuck
to me,
Reddit.
it's like when we were started talking, is that he just didn't know about any other schools. That he'd only researched Turnbridge, hadn't seen any of the other documentaries or anything.
But I still think the adult program sounds very, very like TTI because like I can understand because of grade N, because we had contracts, we had phases,
Oh,
we
there are
had
definitely
parental
parts,
restrictions.
yeah.
There's definitely, but it's more sin and money rehab because I've had to go through that as well. But it's like an amalgamation of all the most fucked up parts of TTI schools
It's just
for
it's the weird
children
part is
pushed on
it
adults that are
doesn't feel
afraid to
like-
leave.
It doesn't feel like they ever made you really emotionally break down, though.
No, they wouldn't do it. It would happen, but it wasn't on purpose. Like I don't know if it was on purpose or not. But there was nothing. There was no like seminars or anything like that where they're purposely trying to just.
Oh, the collateral collections.
Yeah. Because I don't know if you remember, like, in watching the program that like they were talking about Est, and they were talking about like in the 60s and 70s, just moving in America, where people would go to seminars and they'd feel big feelings and like dance, like they'd be like rolling around on the carpet and stuff like that. I don't know if you saw like that old footage or whatever, but like that's
Alright.
like kind of what we're talking about. But yeah, but was there
Alright.
ever like was there
can do
group
this.
therapy where you had to like sit around in circles and like confess your feelings, or
Talk about your deepest, darkest secrets or what you're
was
ashamed
there ever
of.
any elements of that?
No, there was nothing like that.
Very interesting.
Okay, like that's kind of like Hyde. Hyde was like, we're gonna put you in a room full of a bunch of students, and it's sometime their parents that we recruited that all live in one area, and we're gonna have you talk about what a piece of shit you are, or what shitty things you do, or why your parents think you're a piece of shit, and why your parents are concerned, like an intervention, and then you're gonna have to hear how your parents feel like
Wait,
they're a
hold on.
piece of
They
shit
did
in front of
that
these
where?
people.
They did that in the adolescence.
Okay.
So that's so weird that they didn't bring, or they don't have any of the elements of that in the adult part. And they just leave
Yeah.
it to AA.
Basically.
And Bill W. Good old Bill W.
Bill
So
Dub.
what are what like
Page and Captain Bill.
in your workbooks, or like, you know, like what, like, did you have to like talk about all the bad things that you've done and like list them? Did you have to like
Great, and that was like
much
contracts.
Workbooks. It was like, oh god, it was busy work. I hated that shit. I don't remember what was in the workbooks.
I went in the quiet room and like locked myself in a lot of times to like
but it
finish
was,
my
yeah,
contracts.
yeah, I'm just trying to figure out like what you had to do all day. Like, what did they keep, like, how, like, you know,
He said
you did it
watch
for
TV.
so long. You just watched, like,
Watch TV.
Watch TV, basically.
He was on like house arrest.
It was watch TV, get in drama with the other clients, start fights, you know, basically that shit.
I don't cause drama. I react to it.
Real.
Like, I just want to like.
That's
my only
insane.
Kari probably feels the same way.
No, yeah, so, but yeah,
Don't set me up without letting me do background research again.
No, because yeah, I thought that I was kind of obvious. I thought that I told you that who we were
Hey,
doing
I was
today,
mid
but I guess I
meltdown
didn't
calling
at
you
all.
like, I don't know if they give us.
But yeah, we've been
Tell
on
him
for
I
2
would've
hours,
responded,
like,
I
but
just
yeah,
can't.
like, is there anything else that you wanted to say? Like, you know, I want, you know.
www.turnbridgewatch.com. That's where the full memo is. It's like 230 pages. It's very diligent.
Talk about how you do that and what people can contact you about with it. With what were, you know, the last thing that you want to be able to say so we can clean it up.
www.turnbridgewatch.com. There's a message form on that website where you can contact me if you have any new information about anything. The website is instagram.com/turnbridgeabuselog. The Facebook is facebook.com/turnbridgeabuselog. Email me. You know, I'm always available. My contact is on the website, and yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the interconnection of it is going to be more of what they took as adults and forced onto children that is part of the troubled teen industry that they're subjecting unwilling and unsuspecting adults
cult.
too.
That's a full-on cult pretending to be a rehab that's charging people millions of dollars so that they can fucking work at Hobby Lobby. Like,
okay, well then if this guy started
kidding me?
Then if this guy started his own rehab, who was his partner that fucking was involved or part of the TTI?
But I just want to say thank you for talking to us. Like, we'll probably have you on again. This, I'm sure this is going to be an ongoing project for you, and this is, a very long ongoing project for both me and Megan. So, thank you for everyone that's listening. So this has been say goodbye, Megan.
Bye.
And this has been Ikari. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Hold on.
I'm gonna